the Kintner kid and
The Kintner kid's mom, how old she was.
yeah, and whether or not she should have been arrested at the funeral. Or before? No, this was.
That was
that was the funeral. What?
After the funeral.
No, it wasn't the funeral. I'm sorry. It was when they were hanging the tiger shark. And she come up there after the funeral, and she had.
She was at the funeral.
Yeah.
Right.
The funeral was on the same day as the tournament. That's what it was.
So Brody,
it was an island-wide event.
Right. Brody took the slap on tournament day.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've been recording the guys. Thanks for tuning into the Real Guy Podcast, and we're doing some warm-ups for the big show on July 4th, where we sit down and watch the Jaws episode, and Lamont Jones and I both talk through the episode. You guys can click on the episode and watch it simultaneously with the podcast. So we're pretty fired up about that. July 4th is always big time for us down here. We like to celebrate both Independence Day and Jaws, because this whole Jaws thing was about, July 4th and keeping the beaches open and the shark kind of ruining everything, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're doing either of two things on July 4th, okay? You're either watching Jaws, okay, or you're waiting for Will Smith to save the world.
What do you mean Will Smith saved the world?
Independence Day.
Oh, the movie. Yeah, I didn't even hardly think about that. Like, I would never put Will Smith's movies, like...
It's not in the same plane, but, I mean, that's basically...
No, I get it now.
You know what
I get it. But one of the things we wanted to touch base with on was the Kintner kid.
Alex Kintner.
Right.
Yeah.
A couple days ago was the date of his death when Jaws got him. And
30 years ago. No, it was more than that.
more than that.
No.
But
44 years ago.
44 years ago.
44 years ago. 75.
Yeah.
So Jaws got the Kintner kid, and that's when...
How old would he have been today?
The Kintner kid?
Yeah. He was 8.
Call him 10 years old back then. Make math simple. Don't want you guys to get too crazy. So he'd be 54.
He'd be 54. He'd be a little bit older than us.
A little older than us. And instead, he got wasted by Jaws.
Snuffed out.
So what... I mean... Putting him getting the death aside, there was a lot to the whole Kintner thing. You know what I mean? Like with the mom. People wanted to know, like, was that his real mom? Or was that like his grandmother?
Well, let's just do the math on this, okay? Since you're a math guy, okay? If Alex Kintner was 10 years old,
Right.
okay, if you looked at her,
Who, his mother?
his mother, okay, or the woman that was on the beach, we're assuming that's his mother,
Right.
okay? But the math doesn't add up.
He was
okay?
13.
What's that?
He was 13, and they have Mrs. Kintner at 46, but she looks a lot older than 46.
No.
Yeah,
No.
There's no way she was 46.
If she was 46, she was definitely on something.
She was born in 1929.
No.
I mean, even for a Yankee,
No.
she
46.
no way she was
She
46.
looked older than I am, and I look pretty old.
Maybe she lived on Amity.
I mean, I can see that. It's like...
Like, you live
you
on
know, you
Amity,
go
she's
down to
like an old sea witch type.
Yeah, you go down to the Keys, and everybody who's in the Keys that's over 40 looks like they're at least 15 years older.
All right, so...
She could have had that island aging going on.
I'll swallow the pill and say she was 46. But what about the dude that showed up with him? No, he was 60-something.
At least.
So a 46-year-old hanging out with that guy?
I think that was
Because she looked like she was that age or
I
something?
think that was her dad.
You think that was her dad?
I think it had to have been.
Let's back up to the beginning. When
So was she a single mother?
I don't know. I thought that was the dad. So
Maybe that kid was illegitimate. Where was the dad?
Let's back up to when we're first introduced to Alex, and he wants to swim just 15 minutes more. And she says, show me your hands, and uses some kind of, perception to judge how pruned his fingers are to how much he should be swimming. Can you explain that?
Well, I mean,
No, I can't explain
I've
that.
grown
Everybody
up,
knows
born
you
in
can't
Fort
go in the
Lauderdale
water.
and stayed in the ocean like multiple hours.
Maybe because the water's cold up there or something. Because here, I mean, you can prune up. You might get a cramp or something, but you're not going to freeze to death.
No.
It's not like your mom's going to pull you out of the water. What?
Well, her
get
hand-
your Google, man. You get
yeah.
Google everything else.
His hand was beginning to prune, and she was worried that he had stayed in the water too long.
And getting water.
And then he said, just a little bit longer.
Right.
And those were his last words.
Those were his last words.
Just a little bit longer.
And then Jaws tagged his ass.
Yeah, he got munched.
Then we didn't really see much from the Kintners until the day of the tournament. When she
after he got munched and there was that big rush out of the water, she ran down. She was the last one standing on the water line, okay, when the raft floated up with all the holes in it.
Right. And then we didn't hear from her till what, the day of the tournament when she slapped Brody?
Yeah, I think that was it. Well, no. Indirectly, we heard from her because she was the one that went to the media, okay, and put out the reward for the shark.
Bounty.
Right, the original bounty.
So it was her cash?
$3,000.
Oh,
Was that in cash or check?
okay. So that was
Was it $3,000? Or was that the $10,000? I think she put out the $10,000.
The city put out $10,000 after the mayor's kid almost got eaten. After Brody's kid went into shock and the mayor's kid almost got eaten. Then, remember, Brody pulled Larry Vaughn into the emergency room and is like, "You're going to sign this thing right now."
And you're going to give Quit what he wants.
and that's the other thing. Why did she slap Brody and didn't slap the mayor? Right? Because the mayor's calling the shots.
Oh, okay. Because she was under the impression that Brody knew about the girl that got killed on the beach.
Correct.
Okay. And then Alex Kintner got munched. Okay. And she went up to him and she said,
You knew.
You knew. And then she slapped him. Oh, no, she slapped him first.
She didn't know that Brody was actually on the side of closing the beach down from the get-go. It was
Right.
actually the mayor deserved
Right.
the slap.
The mayor
Right.
definitely deserved the slap.
But Mrs. Kintner, she couldn't read through all that.
Well, she wasn't there. She wasn't in the room.
Okay.
Okay.
No, because I was like, Larry should have got the slap.
The mayor should have got
absolutely.
the slap.
But that was a quality slap.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
it
was
wasn't.
that was totally WWE.
No, that was a quality slap.
I mean, it really was.
And Brody took it like a champ.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have taken it.
You would have slapped her back.
Well, I
I've done
want to
something.
know.
Elaine or Ellen Brody or somebody should have gone down there and stomped that woman. Just because your kid got eaten by a shark, you can't go around assaulting police officers.
Yeah, but
But that's what I mean. Brody took it well, so it's not like.
he felt guilty.
Well,
Yeah, but I'm wondering. Listen, she should have been cuffed right there.
you think they should have
Okay.
brought?
I think they should have. I think they should have slapped the cuffs on her right there for that.
So you think they should have brought the old Kintner lady in and
Absolutely.
then for slapping Brody,
Absolutely.
especially since she was
I think
wrong.
he probably Brody probably also had
She
some
was
self-control because the movie cameras were there. I bet if the movie cameras weren't there, he probably would have knocked her out.
Now that's retarded. Especially in the 70s, dude. Like people didn't even have footage of guys knocking out chicks in the 70s.
No.
It's not like today where you can just pull it up on YouTube and watch guys knock out chicks. I mean, that was like a big deal to like.
All right, social media. Where do you guys stand on there? Should Brody have hit her back? Should he have pressed charges and had her arrested? Or did he do the right thing by controlling his emotions and everything and letting her have that little bit of loss of discipline and self-control following the loss of her son, Alex?
See, I think friggin' he took the slap well, and everybody should just move on.
He took it like a gentleman. Okay, but I got to tell you, I think maybe a lesser cop would have cuffed her.
A cop in Fort Lauderdale, modern day cop, would have cuffed her.
No, because he didn't want to do the paperwork.
The cop that pulled over the guys and boys in the hood. Do you remember that? Oh, you think you're tough. You know what I'm talking about?
Why you always got to bring up other movies? I can barely figure out Jaws. You want to talk about The Hood? And every time you put that mic down, it sounds horrible. Click.
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 Anyway, for the Kintner kid, I wanted to do an episode, show a little respect.
When they exploded the fish at the end, when this is a spoiler, people haven't seen Jaws, turn it off now. But when Brody shoots the air tank and the shark explodes, and those big chunks were falling to the ocean floor, was Alex Kintner part of those chunks? Because it said it had a slow digestive system.
No, that was the tiger shark that had the slow digestive.
Well,
tract.
the great white's got the slow. Yes, because the great white's got this. Yeah, the bigger the shark, the slower the digestive system, and that poor Kintner kid got sprayed all over the ocean.
What did
I
you
would
do?
have liked to seen a little more
First he
detail.
got
Go
eaten.
to Woods Hole.
You
went to Woods Hole, didn't you? You found that out at Woods Hole.
I caught a fluke off Woods Hole. Anyway, it made me lose my train of thought, but the poor kid got eaten, and then he got blown up, and then he got splattered all over the ocean, and then got eaten again by the seagulls. The poor Kintner kid was the tragedy of the movie by far. Like, way worse than Quint.
Yeah.
Quint only got eaten one time and then got blew up.
Who was?
Well, actually, he got the same. So Quint and Kintner both were the same. They both got eaten, blown up,
Quint
and then
was
eaten
definitely, again. It definitely did not digest Quint that fast.
No, I think he would have spit Quint out.
Yeah. Quint,
No, he didn't, because you could tell when he was when the shark was coming at the boat, okay, with the tank in the side of his mouth like a cigar.
And a lot of stuff
okay,
in his mouth,
all right, there was a lot of stuff, and it looked like to me I could see Quint's jacket.
well, and there's no way he
That
could
green
have.
jacket.
And that hat, there's no way he could have chewed up or digested that sorry-ass hat he was wearing. Even a great white. That shit's going to stick in his stomach forever. But anyway, Kintner and Quint actually had the same exact demise. They got eaten by the shark.
And the girl.
They got blown up. And then got eaten again by the seagulls. And then actually got shit out.
And the guy in the pram.
And the guy in the pram. That's
The little sailboat dude.
Well, did he? Do you think he actually got chowed, or did he just lose a leg?
No, the leg is the only thing he
Yeah,
didn't
the leg
lose.
is the only thing that was left.
Everything else was gone. He got chowed. And don't think for a second that shark didn't end up
true.
getting the leg. He turned around and got the leg.
You think?
Do you know
Because
how
he hauled butt out of that lagoon really fast.
Every shark that's ever freaking come up and killed the tarpon, he bites him in half.
yeah,
then he turns around and gets the rest.
Gets him. Yeah, that's true too.
So, anyway, I just wanted to get the Kintner thing in. Make sure what? Norm's freaking out.
Okay, now I've got a question. Okay, now that we're talking about shark behavior, why didn't that shark sky on any of those victims aside from the orca? That shark only skied on the orca.
He might have skied. Nobody had cell phones and stuff like that then. They didn't maybe get the shot.
He didn't sky on the girl.
It wasn't deep enough.
It's possible.
Possible.
I mean,
She swam out
you'd
to
have
the
to be
marker.
pretty deep water
To
for
sky.
a 28-foot shark to sky.
How proud is the Discovery Channel of those shots of the shark skying?
Wouldn't you be?
I'd be proud of it. I'd sport it a few times and probably keep sporting it like people,
That's a hell of a topwater
do.
bite.
But they do Shark Week for a whole week. They're going how many years now with Shark Week?
20 years.
Oh yeah.
More.
And basically because they got that sky shot. And then they're going to show it to us like 20 more
Oh,
times.
they're milking it for all it's
200
worth.
more times.
Which the whole Shark Week is in direct contrast with Quint's story anyway, because they'll tell you that sharks do not like eating humans, and Quint is like, well, they just ate us for 4 hours straight. So those two worlds kind of combine.
The story Quint told about the sharks eating the guys from the Indianapolis, that's true.
Yeah, that actually.
So
did
they
happen.
do like eating people.
Well-
That actually happened.
It's circumstances. Those sharks, when the ship got blown up, those sharks knew it then. They could hear that for, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of miles away. And then they come to it.
Then you get 1,100 people in the water.
Right. Then they come to it, and it's like, it's just.
Right, versus everybody that gets bit on the Florida coast, which are usually surfers in the surf that get bit and immediately pulled out of the water.
Right. Those are
But if
mostly
you're
mistakes.
shipwrecked in the middle of the ocean,
Yeah.
Then the
they're
sharks come.
eating you.
The sharks come and they want
Yeah,
you.
your food.
It's not like, oh, a test, oh, I don't like it.
But then again, if it was friggin' chickens or anything else on the boat, that was floating in the water, they'd eat that too. They'd eat anything. Anything, including humans.
I just don't like that they say continuously over and over that they don't necessarily like eating people. I'd like to say that they do.
I'd say they don't like hunting people. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go out of their way to hunt a person. They'd much rather get a tuna.
Oh, I don't know. Did you hear about that deal there that happened? That girl that just got munched in the Bahamas? Like, she got killed. She got killed.
Well, I think we're going
to... That's a level of commitment.
Well, I don't know the details. What happened to her? Where
I don't
was
know.
she? Was she, like, with one of those tours? Like, pet the sharks? Was she deep sea diving?
There's a lot of people that get
know.
bit over there that nobody, the news doesn't get. We don't know about. I mean, a lot, especially the spear fishermen. They get nipped, though. The shark's not trying to eat them.
Yeah, but this time she got killed. That's a different level of commitment.
But, like, was it an unlucky? Like, did it bite through the femoral artery and she just bled right out? Did it take her head off? Did it bite her in half?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of different situations. There's bleeding out from a strategic bite. Like, people call who's that guy that everybody likes? That's the crocodile man that got killed by the stingray.
What was that guy's name?
Irwin.
Oh, that's bad. Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin. Everyone, said it's a freak accident. That's not a freak accident. That stingray hears your heartbeat and puts that thing in your heart. That's what it does to its prey.
You know, his kid is, like, following in his footsteps.
He's doing crazy stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well,
Bindi?
he's got a daughter and a son, but the son is, like, wearing all the same. It's kind of creepy, actually.
The olive green.
Yeah. And by the way, why is it that every zoologist has to wear that olive green?
Jim Fowler.
Yeah. What is that?
That's because
what is that?
No, it's because of nerds like Lamont and TV nerds show up and be like, "Here, put this on."
Yeah.
Yeah, but does that give them any more credibility because they put that on? I mean, let's face it.
Yes, it gives them credibility,
I don't know.
especially on
camera.
film.
On camera.
If you don't think it gives them credibility, check out the progressive chick. She wears an apron and sells insurance because somebody in Hollywood told her to put it on.
Yeah, but would you buy insurance from somebody in an apron?
I got progressive. It worked great. I got it on the skiff and
We're getting way off topic here.
all right, let's get more off topic. I was listening to these football shows, right? Lamont's like, "Oh, check out the Big Three."
Yeah.
And Canes Cast.
Canes
Right.
Cast.
So I'm listening to this. Dude, they just bullshit for hours and talk about absolutely nothing.
Let me tell you something. Sports talk is the most mindless talk there is, and the pinnacle of mindless sports talk is the post-game show. Because every post-game show you ever saw was exactly the same. Okay, the winning team, they says, well, we executed, we ran our playbook, we executed well, and everybody played as a unit. Every single time, it doesn't matter. And then the loser, he's going to sit there with his head down, and he's going to say the same thing over and over again. We just didn't execute. They played a better game. They played their game.
Dude, their agent wrote that for them before the game. They're like, all right, if we win, you say this. If you lose, you say that.
Yeah.
At least in the pros.
Yeah.
See, I'm more like point it out and be like, we lost because of Norm. Norm fumbled twice inside the 5.
That's only a Jim Harbaugh press conference. You're only going to get – there's only a couple of guys ever in the history of NFL that I can remember anyway that'll tell it to you like it is in a post game. Okay, Jim Harbaugh was one of them. Who is the guy from the Jets? The crazy man, Buddy Ryan.
Buddy Ryan. He was a nut.
Oh,
see, those coaches are buffoons and fools.
and Mike Ditka.
And like him, fool, buffoon. See, I'm more into like the Tom Landry dude. It's like, what's he thinking? Like, is he pissed? He's got to be pissed. Oh, he's not pissed? Right? And the players would look at him like that. And then any type of emotion that he did show actually meant something, as opposed to being looking over like, oh, there's the buffoon freaking out again. Because he's a grown man. It's not like it's freaking
Nick
college
Saban.
kids.
As much as I hate Nick Saban, he's the same way.
Right.
No emotion, but finally when he wins a college championship, you get like a little smirk out of him.
He had a lot more emotion than Tom Landry did. Like
Tom Landry was a zombie.
Tom Landry was a gentleman.
Zombie.
And dressed like a gentleman and acted like a gentleman. And he's like a real executive, unlike these fools like Saban and these people that, Ditka. Ditka played for Landry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
I
true.
should say, yeah, exactly.
By the way, I think guys ought to start dressing up when they go fishing again. That's an old-time thing that we need to bring that back.
There's a shirt company. There's a shirt company that actually reached out to us that thinking about being a sponsor for the podcast. Mm-hmm. And they told me it was like a PFG style shirt.
No.
And I kind of like giggled because I wonder if they even saw the memes and all that, right? But then I was looking at the shirt and it's got like that PFG material, but it's got a collar and buttons. Like you could actually put a tie on and wear that shirt. Anyway, it's like they're called Poncho or something. They're gonna send me some shirts and we'll take it from there.
I don't know. We'll
see. You just
said
you wanted to start looking. You wanted to bring back the look.
But I'm saying they wore hats, they wore ties. Okay, and the pith helmet was very popular. Okay, the pith helmet.
What the hell is a pith helmet?
A pith helmet. It's
like the one you wear with your olive green safari.
Exactly, same thing.
So it came from Hollywood.
Yeah. No, Zane Grey wore pith helmets.
Zane Grey came from Hollywood.
Yeah. Zane Grey did, yeah.
Was Zane Grey from Hollywood, or was he a real guy?
He's real.
No, he was a real guy.
Cock Randers.
He was. And, now, I don't know. Hemingway didn't wear a pith helmet. He wore that long brim deal.
Hemingway wore khakis with the belt outside the belt loops.
That's it.
Like just straight up, just wrap your belt around your waist and knot it.
Right, who was a bigger drunk, Quentin or Hemingway?
Hemingway.
Oh, Hemingway. Yeah, no doubt.
He brought it to a whole new level.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you what. Okay, now this is some true Hemingway history. Okay, Hemingway, when he went to Key West, okay, didn't know anything about offshore fishing. Okay, right. And there was a guy named Joe Russell, as in Sloppy Joe's. Okay, and they became friends. And then Joe Russell had a buddy of his, Charlie something or other, I can't remember his last name, had a boat called the Anita. And they went, the three of them were like the brat packers of Key West. And they introduced him to offshore big game fishing.
Who had the most cash out of the three?
Hemingway did by far.
Hemingway was like the Spielberg of his era.
Okay.
Hemingway,
but he was already paid at that point.
Yeah, and in fact, he was a big star. And in fact, at one point, I want to say in 1933 or 34, it was, Joe Russell had this Sloppy Joe's, okay, which is now today's Captain Tony's, okay, in Key West.
Sloppy Joe's is no more?
Sloppy Joe's, just follow me on this. So they had this, today's Captain Tony's, the location of Captain Tony's bar in Key West was the original Sloppy Joe's. And Joe Russell's landlord raised his rent by $1 a month. And Joe Russell said, no, I'm not going to pay this rent increase. It's too much. And he borrowed the money from Ernest Hemingway to move the bar to the corner of Duval and whatever that street is. And
he borrowed $1?
No, he borrowed enough money to move the bar to the current location. There's actually been 2 Sloppy Joe's in Key West. Okay. And that's where that's a true story about Ernest Hemingway and Sloppy Joe Russell.
Dude, you should move down to Key West and be that guy that takes people around and just tells them what the fuck's going on.
I have already done stuff like that, and I'm done with it.
Answer me this, Norm, if you have an answer. You take the Hemingway Lookalike Contest.
Yeah.
Focuses on one particular era of Hemingway's life. How come a 12-year-old has never won it looking like Hemingway looked when he was 12?
Uh-huh.
They're looking for a specific...
Oh, it's a specific
era of
look.
Hemingway when he had the beard.
Well, because
everything was
because
white.
that was his most distinctive look.
That's when Hollywood got a hold of him.
Yeah.
But like the 30-something-year-old look when he just had the stash, when he kind of looked like a young Zonka.
Yeah.
He did look like a young Zonka.
Yeah, he did.
I've never seen somebody win. Like, here we go. The new winner is, and it's the guy with the stash.
Yeah.
They want that Sloppy Joe's image.
Yeah, the old man.
Yeah.
The old man in the sea look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about...
Because that sells.
I was thinking about doing a series of podcasts. The opposite of the old man in the sea. I want to do it the old men of the sea. And then I want to interview Mike Leach,
Oh yeah.
Tommy Green, George Copeland, like all the old men that we got here.
Norm.
I'm not that old. Those guys are a generation up.
But you're getting old faster than everybody else. Like I only got 1 year older last year. You got like 3 years older last year.
That's because I'm twice divorced.
That's a good reason. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Lunker Dog Real Guys Show.
Every captain worth his salt is got at least 2 under his belt.
Dude, I've had the same girlfriend since I was 16. She was 15.
I'm not judging. You're an American story though. That's different.
We'll just leave it at I'm just a step above all the guys.
Yeah, I mean, you made it work.
Help us out, guys. Hit subscribe. Hit the 5-star rating system on iTunes. If you feel real crazy, leave us a positive review where you actually type out a couple of sentences. And hit us up on social media. Let us know what podcast you want to hear next. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of these things on a lot of different topics. We're not afraid to explore different type stuff. So we enjoy your feedback on social media. Follow Jeff on Instagram at lunker_dog.
That's right.
Norm, how do they find you?
They can look me up on Facebook, Finest Kind Sport Fishing, or give me a call, 954-629-0211. That's 954-629-0211.
That was horrible. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to the Real Guy Podcast. And all you people on Waypoint TV, I hope you like it. I just hope you guys like it.